1 month away. Exactly a month away. August 27th, as of this recording. 30 days away.
By the time thousands of people listen to this, it'll be less than a month away. And we don't know anything. Now, I get it. Collision, there's going to be a huge tag title match. I loved the promos for that on Wednesday, and they sold a bunch of tickets off of those promos. And this is what we mean when we say talk people into the building. I mean, those promos were great, and tickets are moving, and that feels like a huge match. And MJF says he's given Cole a title match, win, lose, or draw. So we know we're going to get some kind of an angle and something to come out of that. And maybe we're even going to get our main event for Wembley as soon as Saturday. The larger point here to me, though, isn't that there's no matches announced yet. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that's not the larger point. The larger point to me is we are less than a month away from this show. It is their next big show, so there's no excuse. It's not like there's something in between that they're focusing on. It is undoubtedly the biggest and most important show in the history of AEW. And on top of that, it may end up being the biggest pro wrestling show in the history of the business. It has a chance. And it doesn't feel like it at all. You would barely know that this show is happening just strictly based on their television. And to me, that's the bigger problem than the fact that we don't have any matches announced yet. That's a problem too. But they haven't made this feel like the enormous, potentially biggest wrestling show of all time that it is. There's no hype. Excalibur mentions this show maybe once per Dynamite. And I hate to make this comparison because it upsets people, but it's true. Think about the difference if this were a WWE show.
Oh, my God. Michael Cole would be squealing about this.
He'd be hearing about this fucking show. You'd be vomiting how much you're hearing about
right,
this show.
They would overdo it for sure.
And how big this show is, but it shows the difference. This company, it's like the show's not even happening. Why is this show not being shoved down our throat? Why are we not constantly being told? Why is Excalibur not saying 6 times per hour, in 1 month's time, it's the biggest show in AEW history, the most well-attended pro wrestling show of all time as we go to Wembley Stadium? They never talk about it.
Right. There is only 28 more days until we fill Wembley Stadium for the biggest wrestling show of all time. AEW All In Wembley. It seems
and I know what people are going to say. Oh, they're going to ramp it up. Oh, they'll start. And
now's the time. Ramp it up, baby. Let's go.
What are you waiting for?
Ramp it up. Let's do this. We said that when we did our Blood and Guts instant reaction, and we were like, all right, you know what? They haven't really ramped it up because they were waiting for Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is done, man. Ramp this fucker up. Let's go.
There's no more excuses. There's nothing now in between this point and the show. Why isn't this being presented to the fans as the biggest pro wrestling show of all time?
It's like, just swagger walk. Brag about this thing. You are about to put more people legit than any, like you could there's a very likely possibility that this will be the most well-attended shoot, like legit well-attended and not with people with guns in the back of their backs. North Korea, let's throw that out there. Like, it's going to be potentially one of the most actual legit attended shows in history. Wrestling shows in history.
It has a realistic chance of being the biggest show of all time.
Right. It is undoubtedly the biggest show in AEW history. Just even if you wanted to in the totality of the pro wrestling world, undoubtedly the biggest show in AEW history.
And the most important, they have to nail this.
Put a puffy chest out there. Say, hey, look what we did here. We are selling this and this and this. And be happy about it, man. Brag about it.
Be happy about it. Talk about it.
Make it a big deal. Make it a big deal. Make it the big deal that it is. It's a huge deal. You should be very, very, very happy about this. Look, you should be proud of this. You should be bragging about this. You should make this such a gigantic deal that anybody that's not going to that show is feeling that they're going to miss out and needs to watch this show. And everybody that's going is just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to be there for history. Unbelievable. I can't wait.
Rich, what percentage of their television audience knows how to order it? What do you think?
Well, Joe, because we don't know what it's on. So 0% because they haven't told us what it's on yet.
It's on Bleacher Report, isn't it?
Is it?
The fact that we don't even know.
It's not. They haven't said. Nobody said. It hasn't been said yet. I'm sure
We're not
it
even
is.
sure.
I'm sure it is on Bleacher Report, but I don't know that's been announced yet.
This is such an embarrassing situation.
Let me see. Can I order it on Bleacher Report Live right now? You know?
Yeah, go look.
Let me see. Well, first off, I got to get BR Live to work. Everybody, it works perfectly for me every time. Oh, really? Well, okay, because every time I try. Bleacher Report Live. Looks like AEW pay-per-view. Click in there. I got Death Before Dishonor. I got Forbidden Door. I got Double or Nothing. I got Nope. I can't purchase it on BR Live at this time.
And it's less than a month away.
Yep.
And nobody knows how to watch it.
Yeah, when you go to BR Live's AEW page, it's Death Before Dishonor. Rewatch Death Before Dishonor.
Now look, this is not. I look again. They've got their analytics. I know they like to push their pay-per-views very late in the game because they believe that's when people make their.
This isn't the one.
This is something different. You should be screaming from the rooftops. Everyone, Rich, I don't even know the date. Like, the date should be embedded in my brain. Is it August 27th?
It's August 27th. But yes, you should every time Dynamite should say, we're only 17 days away from it. Because again, like you said, WWE would do it to an annoyance. Corey Graves and Michael Cole would squeal every commercial break. Can you believe we're only 17 days away from the biggest wrestling show in history?
This show would have its own catchphrase.
Right.
By now.
And whatever theme song they did for it, you'd be so annoyed by that theme song because it would play in and out of every commercial break because they would go.
Yeah.
WWE's next premium live event, the biggest event, whatever dumb song would be playing, and they'd do an intro video, and Freakin' would scream, and they would go, only 17 days away from Seth freaking Rollins versus and come on, man.
Some band you never heard of, but now you've got the cover art of their album memorized. I don't. And look, maybe the counter argument would be, well, how can you hype something if you don't know how to tell people to see it? Well,
how about my problem? Figure that out. It's 30 days. It's 30 days.
You should already know how we can see it.
Right.
This is all one issue.
Yes, I agree, person. Hypothetical person. Stop yelling at me. I agree. There should be a way to watch it as well.
This is going to sound weird if the show feels cold. Like it doesn't feel like the biggest show in wrestling
78,000 people. They might have 80,000 people there, and it feels cold. It feels cold as ice right now. 30 days up.
And they're gonna do a big angle on Saturday, probably, and
they'll get there. They'll get there for sure. But
they will get there. But I mean, my God, you'd think that it's you would think that it's like Battle of the Belts that's coming in 30 days. It's just the hype levels are like from 0 to 100. The hype levels for this thing are at like a 12. Why? What the fuck are we doing? At least advertise something locally. Put up a fucking poster on Big Ben that has MJF versus Adam Cole on it. Do something. Put up a fucking poster on the fucking River Thames or whatever the fuck. The fucking
the Docklands.
Something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And people are going to say we're overreacting. That's coming.
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah. No, I get it. And it's like, and they're like, well, they're going to sell the tickets anyway, and it's going to do well on and it's going to be a good show. And I'm sure of all that, but it's this feels like a good opportunity to just, like I said, like even from the standpoint of, if I'm AEW, be happy about this, brag about this, walk into the room and say, guys, unbelievable. Do you guys realize we're 30 days away from putting 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium or whatever? Let's go out there and let's hype this thing up, and let's have Excalibur, as you said, is screaming about everything all 2 hours. The whole 2 hours, Excalibur's screaming about stuff. Can we get him to scream about the show that's about to have 80,000 and be the legit biggest show potentially in wrestling history? Like, can we just do that? Can we, it's, I don't know. It's just, like you said, it feels cold
so
and
weird.
I don't know. I would be so happy and so proud of this thing happening that I would, second Blood and Guts was over. I would, and I'm not saying I need all matches. I don't need 9 matches set. Like, that might be overkill. because WWE does that a lot. You know, they used to do that classically. A pay-per-view would end, and then on Monday Night Raw the next night, the almost half the lineup of the entire next pay-per-view or whatever. I don't need that. But man, a match or two would be nice, and constantly saying, just so you guys know, we're 17 days away. We're 30 days away from the biggest wrestling show ever, our biggest show ever, AEW All In Wembley. We're going to put, 78,000 people in Wembley Stadium. It's going to be an unbelievable. Make sure you're watching on blank, and make sure if you're in the area, you buy your tickets now, and if you can make travel arrangements, you got to be there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make history with AEW, and it's just like, you don't know what's happening. And guess what? They got all out the week after. You know what I mean? Then they got to hype another pay-per-view the week after.
I thought it was on Bleacher Report. I really did.
Not yet.
Honest to God, thought they announced that.
Not yet.
I thought Tony said that. I'm like Mandela affected here.
I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. It's not available to buy right now if I wanted to buy it, but maybe he may have.
No. All right, I guess we'll find out at some point.
It's just strange. Yeah, it's just like be more boisterous about this. Scream about this a little bit, man.
How about sell the rest of the tickets?
Yeah. There's enough to be had. Yeah, what's the latest on WrestleTix? Let's see here what they got here, because they opened up a whole another big section, if I remember correctly, right? Let's see. Oh, just made a post 2 hours ago. Still 7,111 tickets available for the show if you want to get there.
There's 7,000 tickets for sale.
Yep, they are trying. They're set up. They're trying to do 84,048.
Right.
So they're trying for 84,000. Right now they have 76,000, just under 77,000. Just a shade under 77,000. They got right now.
They have more tickets for sale than they draw for a typical Dynamite.
Right.
I don't know.
Scream. It seems like a good time to start screaming.
I'd want to get some matches announced. I think. Silly me.
Get those travel arrangements going. There's still time to book a flight.
I mean, absolutely. But the time would be ticking on that, right? Like, if I wanted to go, I kind of have to know if I'm taking a jaunt to fucking London.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go, by the way. That sounds like a real hassle. I don't go to wrestling shows an hour away. I'm not.
Right. Well, there's a wrestling show this weekend that's an hour away from me. I wonder if you're, I don't know if it's an hour away. It might be a little longer than that.
There is?
There is. We'll talk about it in a moment.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's strange. It's like you could see the pieces coming together. Like you said, this Saturday we'll probably have a match, and Mox and OC is probably going to be a match, and Fightful's reporting that Jericho and Ospreay is potentially a match. And we're 30 days, man. Like, let's it's a big show. It's a big moment. Like.
Okay,
a lot of assumptions being made. It's just book some matches.
I have to read this from the chat. Suit Williams says, I watch the show every week and have a pretty good feel for the top matches. I think this is one of those things where you have to give the fans credit for watching the show and knowing what's coming. Suit, stop. We should not be expected to be fucking mind readers and figure out the card based on Tony Khan's crumbs that he leaves on television, which most of the time don't even leave a solid trail. This is the same man who goes on his post-show pressers and talks us through these great storylines that he comes up with, but they're all in his head. They never play out on TV. It's all Tony Khan's fucking headcanon all of the time for a lot of these stories. And it's like, this is the biggest show in wrestling history. I shouldn't be less than a month out thinking to myself, not having one match announced, and thinking to myself, well, I think they might be doing MJF Adam Cole, because I'm not even sure they're doing that. They should be telling me what they're doing. Why is it my responsibility to figure it out like I'm on a fucking Chikara scavenger hunt? Tell me what's on the goddamn show and tell me how to order it. I don't even know how to order it. Here's my money. I've got a fistful of fucking money and I don't know how to give it to you. I want to watch the show, and you are not even telling me how I can watch the show, let alone what matches I'll be watching when the show is on. Okay? I am Jonah Hill in 40-Year-Old Virgin at the eBay store wanting to buy the boots, and the woman just won't sell me the boots. And he's saying, I have money. I would like to purchase these boots. And she's saying, no, you have to go home. That's what this is. I just want to buy the show. I just want to know what's on the show. I don't need the whole card. Something. I thought the show was on Bleacher Report. Apparently it's not.
I'm sure it will be. Again, similar to the matches, I'm sure it will be on Bleacher Report, but we're doing a lot of should-bes and assumptions at this point right now, 30 days out.
I mean, I'm buying it. Just, I don't know how. I don't even care what's on it.
Well, and Jordan
really
Smith, Jordan Smith in Note of Sharon brings up a good point too. He says it's hard to know for sure what the build for All In is going to be because a lot of those could also be the build for All Out, which is a week later.
Of course.
So it's like, sure, MJF and Cole could be at All In. It could be at All Out too. Could be in Chicago.
If it's not at All In, I don't know what the fuck the main event's going to be. But again, at minimum, can you please just tell me where to send my money?